All right, thank you. I'd like to convene the June 7th Single Family Design Board for 2021. May I have roll call, please?
Thank you. I will now begin roll call. Chair Miller,
Here.
Board Member Koloss,
Here.
Board Member Klein,
Here.
Board Member Ziegler,
Here.
and Board Member Motisha. Absent.
Hopefully it'll show up, but all right, thank you. Moving on, let's move on to item A, public comment. Any member of the public may address the board for up to 2 minutes on any subject within the jurisdiction that is not scheduled on this agenda for a public discussion. Ms. Burkhardt, do we have anyone who would like to speak?
Thank you, Chair Miller. If you are attending by webinar and would like to comment on an item not on today's agenda, please raise your hand by clicking the hand icon on your GoToWebinar control panel, which indicates that you wish to speak. While we wait for hands, Jillian, did we receive any written correspondence for items not on today's agenda?
We received one written correspondence from Jeff Oceans that was distributed to the board prior to this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no hands raised, so I'll hand it back to you, Chair Miller.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item B, approval of the minutes for the Single Family Design Board for the meeting of May 24th, 2021. May I have a motion for approval, please?
I'll move.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Can we go through the items, please? Okay, that's item 1 was 1025 East Gutierrez Road. Item 2 is 691 North Hope Avenue. All right, seeing that those are the only 2 items, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. I will now begin the roll call vote. Board Member Kalas,
Yes.
Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes. There he is.
I am
Welcome.
here. Thank
Yay.
you.
Joe, we went through the minutes for May 24th. Did you review them, or would you like to vote on that, or an abstain? Did you hear the comments?
No, I'll vote on them. I say yes.
Okay.
I didn't need to
Okay.
review. I was here.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's move on to item C, approval of the consent calendar for June 1st. Do I have a motion for approval, please?
I'll make that
I'll make the
motion.
motion. Oh, jinx, Joe.
All right, may I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Ms. Burkhardt, could we go through the items, please?
Yes. Item A was for 329 West Valerio Street. The action was for final approval. Item B was for 2219 Anacapa Street. The action was for final approval. Item C was for 1211 Del Mar Avenue. The action was for review after final. Oh, I'm sorry. Item C was postponed to a date certain of June 7th at the applicant's request.
Okay,
And
those
that-
are, that it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. I will now begin the roll call vote. Board Member Kalas,
Yes.
Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent item for agenda for June 7th, 2021. May I have a motion for approval, please?
I'll move.
I'll move.
I think
second.
Katie. Okay, thank you. Ms. Burkhardt, can we go through the items, please?
Of course. Item A was for 734 Sea Ranch Drive. The motion was for the action was for project design approval with comments. Item B was for 473 Scenic Drive. The action was for project design approval and final approval. And a minor zoning exception approval with comments. Item C was 1724 San Andreas Street. The action was for project design approval and minor zoning exception approval. Item D was 574 Ricardo Avenue. The action was for final approval. And item E was 1211 Delmar Avenue. The action was for final approval.
All right, hearing no comments or changes, may I have a roll call vote, please?
May I ask one question?
Yes,
Was the consent item for Ricardo, was that the one that we saw recently? Was that referred to consent calendar? Or is this a different project?
I think it's a different project. I actually know what you're saying because I thought it was, but I think it's a different project. Am I correct, Barbara?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're thinking of, but it's been on consent the last, at least the last 2 times it was before the board, and it was referred to consent for PDA and final.
So,
I don't know.
Member Klein, this is not the project that you're involved in on Ricardo, right? This is an alternate
No.
project? Okay,
Correct.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Hearing nothing more, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you. And I'll start the roll call vote. Board Member Kaloss,
Yes,
Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. Okay, moving on to item D, announcements, requests by applicants for continuances or withdrawals, future agenda items and appeals. I do have an announcement. Do we have any other items to bring forth? Ms. Burkhardt.
Yes, I do have an announcement, Chair Miller. We did receive a letter of resignation from Vice Chair Sweeney on May 31st, 2021. His resignation became effective on June 1st, 2021 at the adjournment of the Single Family Design Board consent meeting that day. And we will agendize the election of a new vice chair to occur at our next full board meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And in a follow-up on that, I got a rather polite email from Ms. Zueta and a little coaching on terms of the leadership of leading our group. It was an extremely unfortunate occurrence that happened at our last meeting. So part of that suggestion or request is I've got some things I want to share with you, with the board, and to also put it on public record. And I am going to go across, first I'm going to talk about the code of conduct that's required that we all review and sign. And I just want to say it online and on record so that we all remember what this is about. And basically the code of conduct is attentive and understanding. I will be careful and understanding listener. I will be open to new ideas and will explore alternatives. You're going to be responsive. I will be available to provide service and will respond to an appropriate manner. I will be thorough, efficient, and prompt. Honest, I will strive to be consistent and fair and will give complete and honest information and guidance. Courteous and respectful, I will be friendly and courteous. I will be respectful and understanding of others' issues and needs. Knowledge and solution oriented, I will take every opportunity to learn and improve my skills and knowledge. I will use that knowledge to be resourceful and proactive in solving problems and reaching decisions. I will look to creative and workable solutions to problems. And I believe we all got this and we had to sign it as well. Also, as a follow-up, I wanted to put my own comment. I think what happened at our last meeting was very unfortunate and very passionate. And so we need to be really careful about how we conduct ourselves on the board. So what my comments are is, it is our responsibility to maintain and uphold a positive and supportive rapport with both those who come before us and review and with fellow board members and city staff. Avoid using comments that reflect a personal opinion but rather reflect the purview of the Single Family Design Board Directive, which is primarily reviewing size, bulk, and scale and neighborhood compatibility. Please review the Single Family Design Board Guideline booklet. Where is it? This wonderful booklet, and it's online, as it is an excellent resource to understand what to look for. Avoid using any phraseology that could be construed as an attack or accusation against another person or persons. Stay positive and supportive and be respectful to everybody. When dealing with people's design preferences for their homes, it can get very emotional and personal. That's why if we stay focused on sticking to the design guidelines as our point of reference, we can avoid the pitfalls of it turning into something personal. And please note, it has been an incredible privilege for me to be a part of this board with you, the experience it brings, the understanding of the whole design review process, working with professionals and citizens of like-minded interest and knowledge in this place we call Santa Barbara. So thank you. So that's my comment on that with the announcement. So hopefully that'll help and inspire us to move on forward. And moving on to our, and if, does anyone have any feedback or comments?
I have one quick thought, Chair Miller.
Yes.
I recall years ago when I used to attend, it was either the ABR, HLC, or SFDB. I can't remember which board it was, but at the outset of the meeting, they would read effectively the charge of that board. And I found that that was helpful to keep both the applicants and the board members focused on what the intention is of the meeting. And I don't know if that's something that we would want to employ or not, but I found it helpful as an applicant at the time.
Well, thank you. That's something definitely to explore and probably be very valuable. Yes, that'd be great. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Reflections?
Chair Miller,
Yeah.
good afternoon. This is Ted Hamilton. I don't have any comments. I do have just a separate announcement. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, I think we're done with that part, so please proceed.
Okay, good afternoon, Chair Miller and board members. It's good to see you. I just wanted to let you know, and this doesn't necessarily have to go on record, but I am managing the plans, substituting for Mr. Bolton today. So things are going to look a little bit different, and I just ask for your, your patience with me. There might be some lag. So just to let you know, I'm behind the scenes today, and you can ask me to go through the plans for you. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. I'm assuming you're in your office because you have a mask on.
That is true, Chair Miller. Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, I believe we have no subcommittee reports. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, we could move on to our agendized items. Our first item is 118 Remetto Road. They're here for concept review. They are a new item. It's the proposal of a new 3,949 square foot single family residence and new 836 square foot detached garage to be constructed on a vacant 1.42 acre lot. A minor zoning exception is required for the proposed trash enclosure to be located within the front yard. The proposed 4,393 square foot of development on a 61,855 square foot lot is 84% of the guideline maximum floor to lot area ratio, FAR. No final appealable action will take place at this hearing. Project does require neighborhood preservation findings. Hello, Mr. Weinecke. If you'd like to present your project, that'd be great. I think you're on mute, Mr. Weinecke.
Hi, everybody.
And please, I apologize.
Yeah,
Apologize if I didn't pronounce your name right.
that's close enough. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, this project is behind Montecito Golf Club. I'm sure everybody knows what this is. It's a really nice location in town. It was a caretaker's cottage, which had structural problems, and they tore it down, and now it's been split off, and a new house is being built here. The new house is basically being built in almost the exact location as the old house. So basically, it's, which page you want to start with? This page or is it up to me? You go to page, the color board maybe? Or you want to go to the site plan?
Go with the best way to present your project, probably the site plan. Just proceed
So here's-
forward.
Exactly, here's the site plan. It's not exactly perfect, looks like the building is not overlapped perfectly. Imagine all the kind of technical data, move it over to the left a bit, okay? So that the road lines up with the driveway, but that's not your problem, that might just be a PDF problem. So basically the house is placed at the top of the site there. And let's go to page, the bottom of the site plan. I don't know what page this is. The PDFs aren't open in front of us on the left. Keep going, next sheet. Just show some of the neighborhood. The upper right corner are two drawings showing the existing entry gate, which is all out of stone there, as you can tell. The gates there, and the trash enclosure is going to be right behind that left column. Right there, exactly. So that the gate doesn't have to be open for them to get the trash. Just come to the left of that column and then they go in. It's basically more stone, about 6 feet high. You see it on the site plan. That's the existing condition. So let's go to the site plan page. It'll show the site section at the bottom. Not this page. Not this one here. This is after all the stormwater. If you care to go quickly over this, it basically comes down the hill and goes into this green retention area. Next page. Keep going. There's a way to make it so that the page fills the sheet, or the sheet fills the screen. Now, this is the floor plan, but this is a little bit premature, but if you have the color board and material pages, which are G008 and 009, but I'm not sure the PDFs because they're put in the file, Barbara said, for
Hi, Mr. I'm sorry, was it Weinke?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ted Hamilton, I'm behind the scenes with the plans here. If you can refer to specific page numbers of the PDF, that would help me out a whole lot.
She said it was
Just let me know.
in the materials board folder file.
Great, so we have that right here.
All right. Let's start with these because they give you a big, quick overall. This first drawing is, I'm not sure what the PDF is called, G008. This is at the top of the hill. The property came around, like you can see from that site plan. There's a motor court in the back, detached garage on the right, 1 story, house on the left, 1 story with a kind of a tall entryway. Those are all the materials we're planning to use. It's a kind of a soft, natural, it's called Platinum Natural Stone from a company. It's actually cut from real stone. All the stone walls and the stone, as you can tell from a couple parts on the building, the tower, the entry area, and the left-hand side. It's a very handsome, simple stone in that light color there, as you can see. Can you go to the next one, G009? And if you were a bird flying up the driveway, this is what you'd see. So basically the house steps down the hill a bit. Yeah. The very first part is about 5 feet out of the ground is the pool deck. And then another 4.5, 5 feet up, there's the regular house main level. It's basically a slight courtyard with the living areas on the right, the entry area in the center, and the master bedroom suite on the left. And if you go to the sheet that had the site plan and the site section on it, I know you want me to use the PDFs, but there's no reference on the left what the PDF is. Keep going. There you go. Keep going. There we go. Stop. Okay. So this one will be good for showing the overall site. The very bottom is the site section. The very bottom left is where that trash enclosure was we were just talking about. And the very top is where we were looking at the renderings. And you can see it's a very slightly sloping lot, a little under an acre, a little over an acre. And there you go. It shows how the house is basically set on a stepped pad and cut into the hill in the back, so that about 7 or 8 feet of the garage is exposed on the very right side of the back part of the property. And the garage is sunken into the dirt there to create a motor court. And that's about it. You want me to talk about the floor plan or go on to the next sheet?
You have
Here you
a 15 amount lot time. I'm not sure how much time you left, but yeah, please go.
Okay, so basically the top of the page is the motor court to orient yourselves. And there you go. Like I mentioned earlier, the living room public wing is on the right, which would be as you face it from the entry door on the left. And then there's 2 bedrooms and a master bedroom on the west side of the house. And there's the deck where the cross hatching is. And the pool deck is slightly below that, as you can see here. That's basically it. The style, as you can tell from the renderings, was sort of simplified Mediterranean, very simple colors and off-white, not stark white, in stucco, and then kind of washed out wood beam colors and washed out wood windows in that color that was indicated. If you want to go back and look at the color boards, that would be great. There you go. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, let me know.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have public comment, Ms. Burkhardt?
Thank you, Chair Miller. If you are attending by webinar and would like to comment on this item, please raise your hand by clicking the hand icon on your GoToWebinar control panel. While we wait for hands, Jillian, did we receive any written correspondence for this item?
We received 2 written correspondence for this item from David and Patty Hamilton and Morris Sonavi. That was distributed to the board prior to this meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There are no hands raised, so I'll hand it back to you, Chair Miller, for questions.
All right, thank you. Moving to the board for questions, I will go down the list. Board Member Kalas, do you have any questions, please?
It will be nice when we're all in the same room. We don't have to push mute buttons on and off all the time. It's so easy to forget one way or the other. I'm not sure which is worse, but I do have a couple questions, Mr. Wanke. So let's see. The first question is, what is the overall height of the residence?
I believe it's 19 feet.
Okay.
Is some change.
Okay. It looks like everything has clipped eaves. There's no eave extensions or rake extensions. Is that right?
That's correct. The only area that has some overhang is at the front door, and exiting that front area on the other sheet shows there's a little overhang on the other side of the entry section. So,
Okay.
correct.
And then could you just speak to exactly which elements are stone clad versus the plaster? I mean, I'm getting a sense of it from this rendering, but we're not looking at all four sides. So I just want to understand how those volumes relate to one another.
Okay, sure. The really only area in stone besides retaining walls are the entry volume there. Here it shows the 3 windows on the backside, the center area. And then a little area on the right, which is on this drawing, which is the part of the kitchen.
Okay. Okay. And then the only other question I had, which Board Member Klein may be ready to ask also, is can you just speak to what the driveway materials are, and then the idea for the landscaping to the south of the pool? I did drive by the parcel today, and it's relatively exposed, and so I'm just imagining how the use of the pool is going to occur relative to neighbors and people being able to watch activities. So I'm interested in understanding that.
Okay. We don't have a landscape architect involved yet, but this was the basic premise of it, was to have, there's a few trees that are down there already. Driveway is out of a California Gold chip seal, including the motor court. And that's going to start as soon as you enter the gate. And then from the gate forward, which is already existing, believe that's concrete or asphalted concrete. Right, there you go. So it shows, and if you probably know this already, but chip seal product, when it's used for the chip seal, is smaller in grain than regular landscape California Gold. So there you go. Shows the kind of, that little scale on the left, which is provided by the photograph from the company. So it's also kind of a muted, it has some yellows, has some grays. Everybody knows, I think, with California Gold.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the product or the
Yeah,
color.
and if I didn't mention, the entire kind of color palette of the house is muted. So muted grays, whitewashed grays, and tans and taupes. So the stucco is more of a dove gray color as opposed to white. The tile is standard red clay tile color. And the stone, as it says there, is this kind of a off-white platinum color, which looks very washed out.
Do you have a sense of what kind of windows you'll be using?
At this point, they're all wood windows, double pane. And so they'll be stained inside and out. There's the stain color.
Okay.
Pretty similar to the rendering. Let's look.
Can we look back at the site plan one more time, if that's possible, Mr. Hamilton? So the area that's delineated in kind of the gold color that's near the street, is that the same material, or does that transition? I'm confused about the difference in the manner in which it's represented on the plan.
Yeah, I think that's existing. And
Okay.
it may be off a bit. I mean, I'm not sure if the PDF is why it's extending into the street, but I believe it's existing. And I think at this point, we were discussing whether it stops where it's shown there, which is basically 30 feet up from the gate, or whether the actual transition will be at the gate, which would mean more of the California Gold.
Okay.
I think these kind of pavers, it's kind of a stone
Okay.
paver.
And then the last question that I have is proximity of the new residence, your proposed residence, to the one that would be to, I guess it would be the west of it, or the
Yeah.
north on the page.
Correct. Yeah,
Do you
those
have-
dimensions,
I don't
And
see
they're-
the footprint there, so,
yeah. This was supposed to show it, but I think when the PDFs were created, sometimes when PDFs are overlaid on other PDFs, they are screwed up. So you see the upper left corner where there's, it's kind of like a green, that's the garage.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the corner of the lot. to the left. Where you
Okay.
see that, okay? So if you kind of consider that, move that over closer to the property line, which is the property line runs where you can almost see it kind of delineated on the left with that fence. And you can see it again on the site plan, but basically it goes to the left about another 20, 30 feet.
Mhm.
And so there's a garage on the neighbor of that house you just mentioned. That's about 10 feet or 8 feet from the property line in the upper left corner. There you go, right there. And then from there down to the line below, that's the property line. So I think they're probably a pool room or a pool house with the white roof next to the pool. I haven't been on their property.
Okay.
And then,
I'm interested in understanding the relationship between the proposed residence and the pool area of the neighboring parcel. Do you have elevations of that? I'll call it the westerly elevation of your proposed project.
yeah, I think it's on the second elevation page, which would be this is the front page. So I think it's the next one. There you go. If you back up a little bit, you can really see how the garage is on the left. It's mostly buried from this elevation. There's a little retaining wall in front of the house. And then there's the house, which is basically 13 feet. So it's probably about 8 feet there on the left and then 13 feet on the right.
Okay. Can we take one quick look at the site plan again, please? And then I think I'm done. Or the other one that had it overlaid, I'm sorry, the one that we were looking at just a second ago with the PDF over the PDF. Okay. Okay, great. Those are all my questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Board Member Klein, do you have any questions, please?
Yes. So I had a question, why you chose the more of the ashlar pattern for the stone for the house when the entrance stone that's existing is more of a natural cut?
It was a client-driven decision. They really liked the look of it. I believe the narrative could go like, it was like actually built out of the stone and then over time the stucco fell off kind of a look, as opposed to an applied stone veneer. So they're going more for this old world feel that it may have been a really old rustic barn kind of feel that was built out of stone. And now over the years, the house has this feeling that it's really grown out of the landscape and it's not
New.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's the look they like.
Okay. And then board member Colossus already asked you about the landscape. So just to clarify, you are intending to landscape the front area, give it a
Yeah.
facelift a bit?
There's a number of trees, exactly. There's a landscape architect that we're about to work with after this moving forward. And then I think he wants to have some planting in the front. You can see there's going to be an area in the front there by the green zone, which is going to probably have kind of like the neighbor, very open and kind of a xeriscape looking. That'll retain water that's coming down the hill so it doesn't rush into the street. And the area behind that has some existing trees. The client has expressed a desire to have a few areas of vineyard between there and the house. But that's as far as we've gotten.
And that existing driveway, did you talk about that? Did I miss that? That existing?
The driveway's coming out. That's the one that looks like an S shape underneath.
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
That's coming
so
out.
that will come out.
Yeah.
Great. And then just to clarify, you probably don't know specifically yet, but existing trees to be removed, is there any significant trees that you guys have to remove?
None. There's an existing next to the house by the existing house on the west side where the pool is, oak tree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to put it on my screen. That's staying. It's a nice, really nice specimen. And there's a bunch of acacias and other varieties of smaller trees in the front there, which we seem to be missing by going through the driveway in this location.
Great.
actually-
Okay. And then the last question, and it's more of a comment. The stormwater, the civil plans show that entry is permeable pavers.
The yellow zone.
So that yellow zone is permeable.
Yeah.
They have a spec on there.
Cool.
So it looks good. That's all for me.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. I want to pipe in real quick. The site plan, is it scooched over because it shows your driveway going into that other house? Was that talked about already?
No, I think the PDF, when it was overlaid and made into a new PDF, I think that it was not, it's not lined up. So I don't know what to say about that, but other than think of everything moved over about 20 feet to the left.
Okay. Because it looks like you have to tear that house down to put the driveway through.
Oh, you know, progress. You gotta do everything you gotta do.
Wow.
The other site plan doesn't have the neighboring. So this shows everything, but the other site plan shows it correctly.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, sorry. Moving on. Board Member Motisha, do you have any questions, please?
Hi, Mark.
Hey,
Yes, I had lots of questions, but they've been already answered by the two previous groups of questions. Is that a tennis court, a green on the left right there? What is that? Is that existing or is that new?
no, that's required bio retention. It's basically,
okay.
it just indicates the area. It's not even relative. It's not the
No.
shape.
No, it's very very definite what it is now because I can read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't have any questions at this time. Everything has been asked that I had written down. Next. Ryan?
All right, thank you. Board Member Ziegler, do you have any questions, please?
I had a couple of questions, but I think they're answered. The diagram of the two houses together in the driveway, can you go back to that one?
Site plan.
That
Yeah,
one?
yeah, that one. Am I correct that those two houses are within 10 feet of each other, or is it just the PDF? I'm not sure, I'm missing something there.
Yeah, the PDF on
It's awfully
top.
close to the designed house, and I'm wondering if there's more space you can put between the two of them.
Yeah, I brought that up too.
Yeah, I know you did, but I don't know if it was answered or not.
No, the PDF on top, which is our site plan,
Yeah,
has somehow shifted off axes. So the whole site plan needs to be moving to the left about 20 feet.
okay. But the two houses, they're really next to each other that way. You don't want to move this house so it's not right next to the other one?
Now the house site plan, the whole PDF drawing is off. So if you take the
Okay.
whole drawing and move it to the left, that's why I was saying go back to the other site plan.
Okay. And the
Unfortunately-
other thing, looking at the front of the house, how many different types of stone are you using? And I'm not sure I'm getting the design of the house correct. Is it, you have one type of stone or there are different types of stone?
It's just the one type,
Just one type?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
It
this
looks like-
particular, this
Yeah, it looked like
particular,
there were different types of, okay,
unfortunately, this particular rendering, or I'm sorry, elevation,
yeah,
does not represent the stone was picked because we picked the stone after this rendering was done.
okay,
This rendering is done back in March, or I'm sorry, this elevation was done back in March, as were the set of plans.
yeah,
So the color board was done after, between then and now, before this meeting.
okay.
And that's what it looks like now, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. It looked like there was different stone design and they were smaller and larger and I didn't quite understand it, but thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Questions I have. The garage, is the garage existing or is that new too?
It's new.
And do you have an overall view of the houses next to it, how the three houses kind of scale together?
No. Just,
Okay.
I'm not even sure we could see it from Google Map, Street View.
Yeah, it's, okay,
I'm sorry, the house on the left is 2 stories on top of its plinth.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful old house.
Yeah.
And the ones on the right are basically 1 story, also set on plinths. And there's one's above the other in elevation.
okay, all right,
And the one in the middle, which is our property, the one that's yellow here, our project, is basically a little higher than the one on the right and a little lower, obviously lower than the one on the left because of the topography.
okay, thank you. Those are my only questions. So we'll go back to the board for comments. Board Member Kalas, do you have any comments, please?
I am generally in favor of the project. I think that some of the things that we're seeing on the drawings, Mr. Wanke, need to be cleaned up for a subsequent review. And obviously we need more detailing. We'd want to see a landscape plan. I would like to see a section cut that reflects the relationship of the proposed home to the 2 flanking homes, just to get a better sense of whether privacy issues are really, it's difficult to ascertain whether there's a privacy issue, especially for the westerly flanking home and the pool area because of the discrepancy with the PDF right now. So it would be nice to be able to have that reflected accurately and then to have some section cuts through there as best as possible.
Okay.
And it would be nice if the renderings reflected the proper stone. So I'd just be looking for additional detailing at this point, but I'm generally in favor of the project. I think it's cited appropriately for the neighborhood, and I'd be looking forward to seeing the landscaping.
Great. Board Member Klein, do you have any comments, please?
Yes, I also agree. It's compatible with the neighborhood and am generally in support of the project. I'm also looking forward to seeing the landscape plan. I think that there's opportunities for more trees along the driveway and in between the neighboring properties, just to provide that screening. And then also I'd like to see the bioretention area, if feasible, look more natural, not just an engineered square. If there's any way to make it look more naturalistic and add trees to kind of screen it and hide it from the street as well. Those are all my comments. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Board Member Motisha, do you have any comments, please?
Yes, my biggest thing is a more very accurate and well delineated site plan so we can see where, like there's a retention area up in the left hand corner top, and cannot tell if that's a garage. I know there's a garage up there, but can't see that. Don't know where it's at. Yeah, move the whole thing over, redraw the whole thing if you need to. Take it off the roof of the right-hand house, and I think the comments about the stone, yes, redo the elevations or draw some elevations that reflect the stone and what it looks like on the house, and yeah, and I think the section through all 3 houses doesn't have to be that detailed, but it needs to show the heights of the 3 different houses, and the heights of the houses and the lots that are on each side of your house or your project. Other than that, I'm for the project. I think it's going to fit in all right with the houses all around it are basically older houses with traditional tile roofs. I don't object having a house with no eaves, but it's going to be. I support it. I won't make any more comments than that. I'm not here to change your design. I'm only here to critique it. Yeah, that's all.
All right, thank you. Board Member Ziegler, do you have any comments, please?
My comments agree with Ms. Kalas's comments. I share everything she was concerned about, so I don't have anything new to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, I had a list of comments too, but all your previous board members answered them, so my comments have been answered as well. So with that being said, the client is here for design. I lost my minutes. For comments only, I believe. So would someone like to entertain a motion?
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, great.
I make a motion that we bring this project back to the board, full board, and with the comments that we'll start at the top of the house and work down. Stone on the exterior of the house be delineated better. We have sections through the three properties showing the existing house on each side. The landscape plan. What else? Basically it.
The clarification of the stonework.
Yes, that's what I meant when I said stonework showing clarification on the exterior elevations. And I think that's what we're basically concerned with. That's my motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, and I'd like to ask that the following be added to the motion, that we just make sure that the project comes back with increased details. I'd be interested in looking at the sill head and jamb conditions of the windows. It looks like you have some relatively recessed windows on the stone element. So I'd like to see how those are working, as well as a typical window in detail, if that's amenable, Mr. Motisha.
I think that's probably a given thing, but I agree with you, Leslie. Yes, I think the next presentation will include those, hopefully. Yes, I agree with you. Let's add those.
Okay, with that said, can we have a roll call, please?
Thank you. And I'll begin the roll call vote. Board Member Colas,
Yes?
Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Board- You're
Thank
on.
you. Brian?
Yes,
Chair Miller,
yes.
I also forgot to add that, yes, there has been no objection to having the trash enclosure in the front yard setback.
Okay, thank you. Is this a procedural issue? Ms. Burkhardt, since it was spoken after the vote?
Yeah, maybe we might need to do another roll call and check if the seconder is in agreement with that addition to the motion.
Yeah, I'm fine with adding that about the trash enclosure.
Okay,
Okay,
let's,
great.
should we do a new roll call vote? Ms. Burkhardt?
Yes, we can do a new roll call.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll start the roll call vote. Board Member Colas,
Yes?
Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Motisha, for bringing that up.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's move on to item number 2. 2232. Are we on schedule? Let's see, it's 4 o'clock. Yes, we can do this. 2232 Stanwood Drive. This is a continued item with project design approval, and final approval is requested. Proposal to remove and replace the siding, roof, and exterior doors, windows, and skylights of an existing single-family residence. Construct a new pergola and 2 brilliant balconies on the south elevation. someone's breathing. I'm not sure who it is. It sounds kind of like Darth Vader. I don't know if you guys want to, someone mute or whatever, but anyway. Balconies at the south elevation, remove all existing flagstone hardscape and replace with colored concrete slab on grade. Construct a new steel planting beds at the east elevation and install a new rolling entry gate. Construction of a new swimming pool and spa are also proposed. No change to existing landscaping is proposed as part of the project. Project design approval and final approval are requested. Project does require neighborhood preservation findings and hillside design district sloped lot findings. The project was last reviewed November 23rd, 2020. Do we have minutes from the previous meeting? And Board Member Klein, would you be so kind to review the meetings for us, minutes for us?
Sure. The last meeting motion and comments are: 1, the board gives the design positive comments. 2, the board appreciates the facelift for the house. 3, the color scheme and palette is nice and the Corten steel used for the gate planters and fencing is appreciated. The proposed Juliet balconies are a nice touch to the project. And 5, the proposed additional landscaping is appropriate. 6, the board is supportive of the frosted glass garage doors. 7, applicant shall review the reflectivity of the stainless steel over the Juliet balcony. 8, show any outdoor lighting and how the applicant proposes to illuminate the address on the front gate. And 9, the project is ready for project design approval at the next meeting. And here we are.
Thank you. Do we have a representative for the project?
Hi, it's David Brown from Winnick Architects. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
So if you'd just kind of like to go through the different agenda items, that makes it simple and easy and for us to understand as well.
Okay, a couple of additions to the plan set include complete structural and civil drawing packages, as well as the pool drawings. There are a couple of minor changes to the scope of work. If we want to turn to page 5 of the PDF. The two minor changes are, rather than installing new chip seal on the existing driveway, we're electing to keep it the existing asphalt and patch as necessary. And the second item, we're eliminating the ground-mounted solar collectors that were in the yard to the southeast of the house as a cost-saving measure. Yeah, a little north of that. Yeah, right in there. So those have been eliminated. And regarding the two comments the board wanted revisited from last time, we did look at the reflectivity of the stainless steel. I guess we could go to page 15 of the PDF. So we've taken a look at the stainless reflectivity, and we've added a note to our detail page. We're going to be painting the awning dark bronze to match the new window frames. So that's taken care of. If we go to page 18 of the PDF, next sheet. There we go. So we've added exterior lighting plan here to address item number 2. And if we go to the next sheet in the PDF, we have fixture cut sheets. Most of the lighting consists of low path lighting, down lighting, and wall sconces near exterior doors that only cast light downward. And I also believed you had asked for, and it's not in the minutes, a graphic representation of the address numerals to be placed on the new entry gate. So if we can go to page, let's see, sorry. Yeah, page 16 of the PDF. Guess would be the next one down, sorry. Next sheet down. We skipped A701. Down one, there we go. So on this elevation number 1 toward the bottom of the sheet, we've placed the address numerals at the required height for fire department, and that's the graphic representation there. I think that completes all of our minor changes and responses to your items.
All right, thank you. Ms. Burkhardt, do we get any public comment, please?
Thank you, Chair Miller. If you are attending by webinar and would like to comment on this item, please raise your hand by clicking the hand icon on your GoToWebinar control panel. While we wait for hands, Jillian, did we receive any written correspondence for this item?
We did not receive any written correspondence for this item. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And there are no hands raised, so I'll hand it back to you, Chair Miller, for questions.
All right, thank you. Board Member Kolos, do you have any questions, please? Oh, before you answer anything, I just have to ask this for a procedural. Has Board Member Kolos and Klein reviewed this project previously? Is this an issue, or are we okay? Ms. Burkhardt?
I did review it, and I told Ms. Burkhardt that prior to the meeting, Chair Miller.
Okay.
Yes,
And
so we just,
I
go
have
ahead.
as well. I have as
Okay.
well.
Perfect. Go ahead, Leslie.
Okay. I don't really have any questions. I guess I just have one question in terms of, I'm assuming that's a rolling gate at the front. And so I'm just trying to understand what the condition is there with the wall. Is there a wall being built that will allow that to roll, or how is that rolling gate going to operate? Is there a detail through that I just missed perhaps?
Yes, it is a rolling gate. And if we look on PDF sheet 17, there are details for the gate. Basically what we're doing is south of the driveway, we're casting a new concrete retaining wall that will support the track. It's detail 2. That's plan view.
And what will the finish be on concrete wall? Will it be
Integral color concrete that will match our new concrete hardscape around the house. It'll be a buff color.
Okay. And then I guess the last question I have is, what will the material be? I can't read the note. I apologize. It's too small for the letters that are going on the gate itself.
They're 5 inches tall.
Okay, and they're brushed stainless, so they will contrast the Cor-Ten once it's weathered, right?
Yes.
And then on the site plan, one last question. It looks like there's some operable skylights on the south side of the roof. Are those existing? I think it looks like note 11.
The skylights exist. We're replacing them with operable units for natural ventilation.
Okay.
No new
Are they,
openings.
Are the existing ones frosted or are they clear?
They're clear glass,
And the ones that are being proposed?
same clear glass.
Okay. Those are all of my questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Board Member Klein, do you have any questions, please?
Just one on the lighting, on the landscape lighting. There's some uplights for the trees, and I was wondering if you could point out those on the plan.
We've used them only in one place. If we want to stay here on the site plan, we could zoom into the existing large oak tree that is nestled in the driveway there. Yes, that one. So we plan just to uplight. It's a magnificent tree and really something the clients want to highlight as well as we do. So we're planning, I think, 3 LED uplights there to accent the tree.
Okay, thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you. Board Member Motisha, do you have any questions, please?
Sorry.
Got it. Push the
Can't
wrong
tell
button.
between green and orange. They both look the same to me. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Board Member Ziegler, do you have any questions, please?
No questions.
All right, thank you. I have no questions at this time either. So moving on to comments. Board Member Kalas, do you have comments, please?
I take no objection to the progress. Project is I think a welcome sort of house.
I apologize. I don't know if it was my computer, but you kind of went in and out.
Yeah.
Did you guys get that too?
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I turned off because I'm getting a message that may help be better now.
Okay.
Okay. I take no objection to the project as proposed. I think it's fine. And I think it will provide a nice improvement to the property.
Very good. Thank you. Board Member Klein, do you have any comments, please?
Just also, I'm in support of the project. I think it's really well done and fits the site and the topography and the landscape well, and I'm in favor of it.
All right. Thank you very much. Board Member Motisha, do you have any comments, please?
Just that I'm in favor of the project. It's an improvement over a house that's been there quite a long time, and it does need some better loving care, and it's getting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Ziegler, do you have any comments, please?
No real comments on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. The only comments I have, it's really, I can't wait till we get back into real live meetings, because these computer things and trying to review the plans is a challenge.
I agree with that.
It's just, yeah. So anyway, those are my comments at this time. With that being said, would someone please entertain a motion? They're here for design and final approval as requested.
I'll make a motion
Thank you.
that we find that neighborhood compatibility has been met. If I need to read those specific items in, and that the project be given project design, I would ask that, I don't even know if it needs to return to consent calendar. I think we have everything that we need. I think we just, I think it gets final approval, and that neighborhood compatibility is met.
Board Member Kulas, we're working to bring up the findings that need to be read into the record, and you could also add a brief sentence or a few words about how the project, how you're making the findings specific to this project. There we go. Thank you.
We feel that the project is compatible from a size. There's no real change to the existing size, massing, or bulk on the project. that the project will enhance the nature of the home and the surrounding neighborhood, that it's consistent in its appearance and compatibility with the neighborhood, and that the architecture and materials will be an improvement over the existing. Could I see the next slide, please? There are no trees being removed, so there's no concerns about trees. And the project is compatible with good neighborhood guidelines. There's no privacy issues for the neighbors. No public views will be affected. And there's no negative effect to health, safety, and welfare for the public. That's my motion.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Thank you.
Sorry, Chair Miller, we also have one more set of findings that need to be made, the hillside design and slope lot findings.
Sorry.
I would also say that the natural topography is protected and the building scale, there is no effect on the building scale. It's existing to remain. So there is no finding to be made there, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, who is the seconder?
I'll second that again.
All right, thank you. Any further comments? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
So just be really clear, this is, we're making a motion for final approval, not just PDA, right? It's project design approval and final approval.
Correct.
Great.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. I will now start the roll call vote. Board Member Kalas,
Yes?
Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And is there a 10-day appeal period for this? Yes, there is. Okay, there's, as shown on the screen. Okay, I think that's the final item on our agenda for today. Short date. So that,
Thank you for your time this afternoon, everybody.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'd like to conclude the Single Family Design Board for June 7th, 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.